But Rapid is going to get himself away from that, but that is a blue buff picked up as well.
But the inner turret is going to fall in that bottom lane. Rapid Star is heading straight towards it. They're going to take advantage. They realise they've lost the Baron. They're going to try and take anything they can from this one. The top turret also going down to minions, so it's going to be 2 turrets for Azubu Frost. Despite the fact they lost out in that fight, they're just going to tank up this Baron, though. They will pick that up for sure. Will it be in time for the spawns? No, it won't.
What a crazy game. 16 kills to 16, only a 2,000 gold disadvantage. The turret's in the favor of Azubu, but the gold and the really team fight advantages in the favor of Gambit Gaming. Even with all the Randwin's omens, they could not withstand the barrage of physical damage coming out from Gambit Gaming. The problem with them picking up the Baron here is their base is completely harassed by minions. They are trapped in here for the foreseeable future. It'll take a lot for them to be able to get the pressure back in this game and actually take it over.
So a Hex Drink has been picked up there by Diamond Prox on Xin Shao. Also a Warmox finished up for Kha'Zix, plus that Zeke's Herald that we were talking about earlier on is now complete on Edward. So getting into the juicy times now, 44 minutes in, the spawn time is starting to really become a problem. If you start to lose fights, you're going to lose base.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, you know, the fact that they are without issues at the moment, but we are at 44 minutes. We saw this yesterday. SK versus Fnatic, once it hit that 50+ minute mark, their spawn timers get gigantic. And if Gambit Gaming can come out 3-2, 4-2 up in them fights again like they have done in the last few fights, it would be a big win for them. So 16-16 in kills, very even. 5k gold difference, which is not that great when you're talking 62,000 to 67,000, 7-4 turrets. Well, Goonwoon picking up that blue buff. Items popping in and around all the time. Guardian Angels is going to be back up for Rapid Star in the next fight, which was a big difference when they won that last team fight.
And I gotta say, this has been a fantastic tournament so far in Katowice. It's standing room only in thousands of seat stadium back here. The crowd is just so transfixed in here. They have been awesome this entire time. And honestly, this game is not going to end in a normal way. Something incredible is going to happen just based on what's happening this weekend. And the fact that we're 45 minutes in, but both teams are kind of at a standstill, something crazy is going to happen.
Yeah, you can see Gambit are backing off. They're going to go by. There's the Bulwark now being picked up by Diamond Prox. That's going to help them out. And Goonwoon has been the target. You can't stop a Renekton, a Kha'Zix, or a Xin Zhao. They're all just going to dive on him. And every time you see it, Goonwoon's trying his best. You know, this is a guy we've seen cleanse off, remove, buffs, everything. He's avoided 4cc. Everybody's seen that YouTube clip, but they just can't get away because everybody's piling on him.
He's really trying to tank up, but at the same time, all the people diving him are super tanky as well. So at this point, do you really have the damage to hold him off? It's going to be so close. The problem is here, though, Alex at 372 minion kills is actually maxed out his items. So the longer this goes on, the weaker he's going to become.
Dragon here being done by Azubu Frost. Nothing that Gambit Gaming can do about that one, but at this stage, a Dragon here and there is not the first thing on Gambit's mind, that's for sure. They are pushing now down towards that inhibitor turret. The home guard boots, you can see speeding Mad Life and Shy back up towards that fight. Are they going to be able to get that grab? Minion wave is there with it. That ward was basically a waste of money from now. And now Gambit are in there. There is, of course, the Banshee's Veil. Perfect item against that Blitzcrank. If he hits it, well, his grab's going to be on cooldown for a while. And with that Banshee's Veil now having a low cooldown itself, becomes even more valuable against a Blitzcrank.
Yeah, we saw Azubu players doing exactly the same thing against N-Rated on Fnatic in the last game. Get that Banshee's Veil out. It's a much quicker reset timer on that Banshee's Veil as well. Diamond just checking that Dragon. They didn't realise it had been taken, so Azubu Frost got one over them on there. There's a great big creep wave on the bottom lane, which they're going to go deal with in a moment. So, and Gambit Gaming really not making much use of that Baron. It's going to run out in 30 seconds time. So that means it will be all square once again, and Azubu Frost pushing up the mid.
And that was the unfortunate thing about them getting the Baron with the inhibitor down and waves of minions just assaulting their base, is it was most likely only going to be for farming and for withstanding the base. The game is really going to restart again once this Baron is off, now that the inhibitor is back.
50 minutes, 32 seconds. That's exactly 3 minutes from now. And they're going to face off for that Baron once again. Right now, Gambit more concerned about making sure their base is nicely pushed out, that they've not got to think about returning to base if they manage to pull off a good team fight, just to cover all that kind of stuff. But their wards put down as well by Azubu. Are Gambit going to go for it? Yes, they are.
They're jumping in there. Curse of the Sad Mommy used very early. Alex is just going to get flipped around, but the damage not really targeted. And Crescendo hits the entire Azubu Frost team. Beautiful from Edward there. Now the damage comes out. Shy 0. The top turret is in trouble though. That could well take the turret down. Oh, Alex has gone back to deal with him.
Absolutely brilliant fight there coming out of Gambit. Can't they push it any further? Shy now may be in trouble. He's got 3 men on him. Cloud Templar is there as well. Diamond's not super healthy, but they're quite happy to do that damage as they go through there. Edward going to come in. Those heals could be vital at this point of the game, as we are going to see that turret going down. Inhibitor will go down afterwards. There's still 40 seconds for Rapid Star, 30 seconds for Wound. Mad Life going to be up in 12. Are they going to go here for the finisher? There's the Home Guard boots coming out. Shy going to leg it in there at a ridiculous pace to see if he can stop this happening.
It's still a 4v2. It's going to be a 5v2 in a second as well. It's Genja trying to do the damage on the Nexus turret. Here comes the spawn zone. Mad Life's going to come around there. Darian taking low. He gets hooked in. And you can see Darian in all sorts of trouble, but Alex is jumped straight in. True shot for Arch. Flashes past Cloud Templar, taking down very low. Gambit Gaming are going to disengage, get out of there, take the advantages. They managed to get the inhibitor and they have an 8k gold lead.
So Azubu realized that they were weaker in team fights, but they actually did the smart thing of, if they're going to fight, do it on Gambit's side of the map. Because if they would have lost that fight anywhere but there, the game would be over right now. So the fact that Gambit is again winning that team fight just makes them even stronger. Makes it extremely difficult for Azubu Frost to win this game. Now they have to find a way to win the game without winning a fight, which we did see World Elite do against CLG EU back at IPL 5, but it is so rare to see.
And we've got round about 30 seconds here until that Baron comes up. Mad Life does have an Oracle on. He's put wards in there as well. We've now got 4 Randuins over on Azubu Frost.
It looks kind of pretty.
It does look pretty.
Yeah.
They've lined it up nicely. Double Guardian Angels coming out from Gambit Gaming. You know, you've got your gimmick. We're going to respond with ours. We always go for those Guardian Angels, and now it's going to be on Genja along with Alex Itch. They may come up towards Mad Life. Mad Life teleporting back there. And of course the Baron will be up in, well, 5 seconds time. They are seeing Rapid Star down the bottom. This one may well get given up.
It looks like it as well. They are going to start this one off, Gambit. And who's anywhere near to really do anything? Amumu and Singe coming up there. We've got Graves, Blitzcrank just behind him. Obviously, Rapid Star is further behind us. We are going to see Diamond diving in here. What is Cloud Templar going to do? There is the ultimate coming down. And you see Ezreal coming in to join that fight as well. That's a great ulti out of Diamond Procs. The dispersion really working out nicely. And there's Alex Itch actually diving over on towards Wung. This is an extended fight just because of those items, as we are going to see the Zhonya's pop by Rapid Star on camp right on top of him. He is going to go straight down. That's 2 kills coming out. Edward actually falling fairly low. Woom has managed to survive along with Shins, but maybe not for long as Genja goes in there. And here comes Alex from the side. Genja going low, but he's got the Guardian Angel and finishes it off with one final Q. And Gambit surely are going to win the game right here.
Sniped off the side. Shy just the last man standing, and Gambit Gaming moving in towards the Nexus turrets. Shy doesn't worry. He's just going to try and cause himself a problem. But look how fast those turrets are going down. It's going to be Gambit Gaming taking game 1 here against Azubu Frost. Can they stop the Korean might here in League of Legends? The Nexus will fall, and Gambit Gaming take game 1 here at Intel Extreme Masters in Katowice, and the crowd love it.
Absolutely insane stuff there. We ripped a little bit, I think we can quite call it, on the first day with Gambit. They lost their first 2 games. They looked pretty shaky, but I tell you what, that was a completely different team that turned up.
They improved so much in the last 2 days. Great boot camping by them.
Yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, let's get over to the experts and see what they make of that 51-minute game.
Wow, Panky, what a game. That was so back and forth, and it came down to just those couple of crucial team fights that put Gambit Gaming ahead.
We all asked for it. We all wanted it. They had a bit of a disappointing showing on Friday. We wanted them to come back with full force today, and that's exactly what they did. That is the Gambit game. That is the Moscow 5 we all know and love. They were always this really strong team that could team fight and team fight and team fight over and over again. Their coordination, their communication was always the top notch here in Europe. That's what kept them on top for so long. And we just saw it back there. I mean, Jack kept explaining, there's just physical damage, physical damage. All that the players have to do is armor, 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 and they should win those fights. Moscow 5 or Gambit Gaming turned around and went, no, that's not going to work. We're going to do it this way. You're all going to die. We've got a couple of replays up to show it, but the way they just focused those targets down, managed to bypass that front line. Yeah, okay, it's singed in there, but other than a quick fling and a slow, he's not got any other crowd control. So his tank is just, well, if he does damage, you've got to focus him down. they got up to the point where his damage was insignificant. He didn't really focus on them much. As long as they avoided the flings a little bit, he was just ignored, and Alex could leap over him. Diamond could charge through him. Darian used his slice and dice ability to go physically through him. He used that Singed as the second proc to keep him going into that back line. Woong and Rapid Star were exposed. Even once the Zhonya's came up on Rapid Star, just like we saw from Soaz in the previous game, he melted. Wouldn't be surprised to not see any trace of Evelyn again soon.
Yeah, we do have a replay. Give us a little bit of a rundown, because this is like the first actual team fight in I finally failed. I finally called him that.
Yeah, this is 25 minutes in. You can see 7 kills to 3. Shy thought he had the advantage coming around the backside, but immediately you start to see that Rapid Star's the first one to go very early. He drops. Edward is off the side, took a lot of damage initially, but then gets ignored because it's only a support. He uses ability. There's nothing much left. Focusing onto Templar, just making their way through this Azubu line. Shy is in there, yes, but he's used his abilities. They're all on cooldown. There's nothing else he can do other than poison them, and the poison's not doing too much. Woong turns around to try and do his best. A nice flash from Alex away keeps him alive. Woong tries to dash in, but the auto attack from Genji's already following him. And then it's just a case of chasing him up the rest of the lane. Here is where Shy's strength. Yes, he's strong. Yes, he's got a lot of health. That keeps him alive, but that's just about it. Darian, perfect disengage. Every time they know, then they have to back in when they have to go out. Last heal from Edward keeps him going. And with a couple of turret shots, Azubu do manage to shove him right off the edge of that turret. But it's just that systematic movement through that Azubu lineup. Through target to target, squishy target. Okay, Rapid Star, he's in stealth. It's a bit hard to follow him. He gets out there, he pops an ultimate. It does hit 4 or 5 people, gets a 250 health shield for everyone it hits. But it still does nothing. He just gets burst through. Genja had so much damage to get to.
That was the thing, because Rapid Star, in 2 or 3 fights before he actually got that zone, before he got that GA, was going into that backline trying to pick off Genja every time, and yet he would get blown up. Alex would just turn around and kill him in a matter of a few seconds. We do have another replay, so going to get it actually prepared for you guys in just a second. But one thing we didn't even mention is Edward. His crescendos were amazing.
Yeah, every time, 3, 4, 5 people, and then he'd just back out, sit at the back and do his heals. That's what they needed him to. He'd get a bit risky going in a couple of times. Occasionally he'd get flung by Shy. If he got burst down there, that would have been possibly the end of their fight, but he managed to get these crescendos off and managed to control the fight. He'd then fall back and just keep topping his team up. Heals, movement speed, just keeping them going, doing what a support does best. And every one of those ultimates landed. They completely changed the game. Next replay we have is about 39 minutes, 11 kills apiece on each team. There's a slight 4,000 gold lead to Gambit at this point. They've just taken a dragon, and they try and come and collapse down in onto Azubu in that mid lane. Mad Life's grab makes this fight. Jack pointed it out during the actual game. Yeah. We're going to slow it down a little bit and explain exactly why here. We do see Alex has that Oracle, so he is coming straight up past. They do notice there's this ward here from Mad Life. He does just place it. Azubu coming in, that grab right onto Alex's edge. He'd normally leap into that and go in the middle, but because he's grabbed it, he has no control over it. He gets exhausted instantly, gets knocked up instantly. He does no damage whatsoever in this fight. Runs off the ignite, takes him down, and it's immediately a 4v5. Edward did get a lot of people in his Sonar ultimate, but because they were so far back, the rest of Gambit couldn't follow it up. And while they were all there, Rapid Star and everyone got out of the stun, kept coming back in. Genja was very deep by this point. Azubu were able to focus him. Rapid Star, yes, he went down quickly, but he had his Guardian Angel up. By the time he was back out of it, Gambit were all solo health. They just had to leave. Another phenomenal grab by Mad Life secures him that last kill onto Darren. They chase him back down towards the base, and Shy, again, he's done that point. Yes, he's just annoying. He's got a lot of health, so he can go wherever he wants in the fight. And now it was him to chase down Edward and fling him straight back in again for one more. And this opens up that turret and the inhibitor for him, which really set the tone for the rest of the game. They had all those creeps pushing in. They had the super creeps in mid lane, opened up the Baron for him, gave him a large advantage. But again, Moscow 5 came back. That was the one team fight they really made a mistake on. And everything from there on out, they just got it right every time. They did it properly. They took those kills, they took those advantages, and then they got that advantage and used it for objectives.
And the amazing thing is that every single person on Gambit Gaming did something they needed to. Like, they played so well. Like, everyone had a role in that fight. We saw Darian, we saw Diamondfox diving into the back, trying to keep Woong off of attacking. We saw actually the double locks of the Arn Solari to really reduce that damage that was coming out of Singe, which really helped quite a bit because he didn't build any AP, so he reduced a lot of damage. You had Ghost of Pepper trying to get the heals, the speed buff, trying to keep his AD carry alive, and then the crescendos were amazing from him. You even had Alex that he, I have to say, was the key if it wasn't Edward, because he was the person doing all the damage in those fights. I mean, it wasn't doing all of them, but he was the one that was really getting everyone low, really starting to set off the entire fight and really roll it in their favor.
Like, the fight would start, Alex would leap in, he'd pick someone, he'd unload his burst on them, they'd be low, he'd back away as everyone started to try and attack him from Azubu. Then the rest of Gambit would clean up that low health person. By the time that was done, Alex was in a position to come in, pick someone else, nuke them low, run away again, let him clean it up. There was one fight where we saw it do the other way around. Gambit took everyone low and he went in and picked up a triple kill, cleaning up with the resets. But more often than not, he was initiating, he did that burst. That's what we saw him try and do at that time, but Mad Life managed to grab him first. That's why it went the other way.
And the thing is, he was eating the Amumu ult every time. I mean, it was on purpose, though. He was trying to get to blow it, trying to keep Kazakhs off of their back line, and that would set up his fight, because it kept Ezreal free, it kept Sona free, it kept Darien and Diamondfox free, so they can get into the back line.
That was Edward again. Every time that ult went in from Amumu, the Sona ult went in. So yes, okay, they were stunned up. Azubu wanted to do damage to him while they're stunned. Where Azubu was stunned. So they were both sitting there, both done. Because the Amumu went off first, Gambit would recover first. They still have a couple of split seconds left on that stun from Sona, and they'd be able to start the fight on their terms.
Yep, well that was game number 1. Gambit Gaming, I don't think anyone really expected them to give us a showing like that after day number 1, but we're going to go a little bit of a commercial break. We'll be back with game number 2 between Azubu Frost and Gambit Gaming. Guys, don't go anywhere. welcome back to day 3 of the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice. We have the expert with us, Panky. I am Jason. We've been watching some of these amazing matches. This is a second semifinal. We have a 1-0 lead currently for Gambit Gaming. And I wanted to say this. We had IEM Kiev back in 2012. They were under the name Moscow 5, but previously Empire. They made a name for themselves then. Now they are Gambit Gaming, the first tournament of their career with Gambit Gaming in 2013. And we'll see if they can make a name for themselves, beating Azubu Frost. Panky, game number 2, what do you expect?
I expect Frost to take it. I expect they're going to go and even this series up, and we're going to have a full 3-game semi-final for both semi-finals, and it's going to be phenomenal. And I think we're going to see about 20-something Giants belts.
20-something Giants belts. Maybe another 8 Randuins or something like that, a couple Warmogs, as we saw in that last game. And wow, I mean, Frost, like I don't think they expected to lose that because of that performance we saw on day 1. I know I know Azubu really wanted to start playing Moscow 5 to see what they really brought to the table, and you saw right there just how well Gambit Gaming can play.
Yeah, I mean, Jack said it on Twitter just between the games, Snoopy in the green room, and obviously Snoopy's been giving some input, some analysis on the games through the Twitch chat, apparently, from what I can see. Itemization being a massive part of Season 3 now. It's not so much the champions, not so much the balance and the numbers on them, but we mentioned how the new items made Rise really strong, and the new build pass making the Bruisers really strong, but it's more than just that. Singed, as I said, too tanky, not enough damage. If he had a Leandris, if he had a Raleigh Crystal Scepter, it would have been a very different deal. But there's more to it than that as well. Locket of the Iron Solari is arguably one of the strongest items in game right now. A lot of the supports are raving about it and rushing it as a first item, but it's not quite trickled down to the solo queues and the custom games and things yet, but slowly it'll get there. People will learn. Everyone's there. It's still very new, this patch, considering how much has been put into it. So people will learn, people will try, and we'll keep seeing new strategies for quite a long time.
Yep, well, we are in the picks and bans. We're going to have Gambit Gaming as our blue team, and Azubu Frost as our purple team. Right off the bat, we see that Olaf ban, and Azubu Frost banning out that Kha'Zix away from Alexich.
I wonder why.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Interesting that they ban the Evelyn rather than let him pick it. Okay, Alex has got a really strong Evelyn. We've seen him do crazy things with that before. But we've also seen Rapitar do some crazy things with it. We've also seen Peke do some crazy things. They were all leaving it left open for those teams. Okay, Soez took it for Fnatic, not Peke, but every time we've seen someone try an Evelyn, today being the only day we've actually seen her played, every day it's just been banned before now, she hasn't really made that kind of impact. She's gone in, she's done what she's trying to do, and just died.
Yep.
It's not really there. I wouldn't consider it ban-worthy, but...
well, you kind of have to prevent them from getting, because Alexich was one of the first. I remember at Gamescom 2012, he was one of the first playing that. But we do have Gambit actually banning out Misfortune. I think this is the only team that actually banned Misfortune in the entire game, taking it away from Woong, and they ban out that Lee Sin. Obviously, Diamond Prox considered probably one of the best, if not the best, Lee Sin in the world. And Gambit Gaming, with their first pick, what are they going to take? We still have Twisted Fate left open, as well as Lulu, but he goes for that Rise, which he's been playing quite a bit. He's an amazing Rise player.
He's one of his favorite champions and has been for a long, long time. Normally, as we mentioned really early on the weekend, yes, he's really strong in the new items. Yes, he's a great champion. He does a lot of damage now. But he's not so wonderful in all the lane matchups. So you normally wait a little bit longer and see what you're coming up against and then see if Rise works. Alex, however, is confident enough that you're going to straight out pick it. We've seen a couple of other attempts as well. You can run in with teleport, you can go to the top lanes, bottom lanes, using that snare, using your damage, your AoE damage, your bonus movement speed. He has some pretty strong ganks in that potential. He could still do it. Obviously, he's still got all this time while everyone else picks to change his summoner spells, and it could also vary on what Azubu pick. So we'll see what they go with, but they have got, same as last time, Cho'Gath, and Madlife is going to have his Blitzcrank back. He did get some very powerful grabs in that game, but unfortunately, none of them are quite game-turning. And more Banshee's Veils are coming out to counter that too now, so he needs to land those grabs before that happens. Those Banshees, I mean, we saw, again, Fnatic versus Blaze, there was one grab, if Unrated had managed to get it, it would have won them the game. It was onto
Kog'Maw.
Onto Kog'Maw, yes, it would have pulled him out of position, would have died, and that would have been more or less game over. But a Banshee's Veil was there, Banshee's Veil saved him. It's a very, very powerful item, but if you're going to try and get some damage, you're going to have to wait quite a while to get there, so it's a bit of a trade-off, but Madlife needs to land the grab early.
Well, we did see in Azubu Blaze versus Fnatic that Cho'Gath being used in game number 3, and we'll see how well Frost can use it here. With that Blitzcrank, I mean, the casters were saying that Gambit is doing such an amazing job of dodging all the pulls. Yeah, there was one bad one, but for the most part, they did a great job of that. We do see that Ezra locked again. We do see that Xin Zhao And I mean, we saw those two champions last game. They did a phenomenal job. Azubu Blaze now with the next, or sorry, Frost now with the next two picks. I'm really curious to see what they're going to pick up here because they do have that mid lane available if they want to.
They don't have to rush out that mid lane pick. They know what Moscow Fight have got. There's nothing that they have to take away before they get there. They can sit here and spend their time thinking on what they want to play against it. And Rapid starts grabbing his Anivia. This is the first time we've seen it all tournament, but it's not the first time we've seen Rapid start playing. It's an incredibly powerful champion. It's unbelievably good with that Blitzcrank. You land that grab, you zone their entire team out, you put a wall down between them. You
call it the silence.
Get back to it. And yes, and that long range stun, and the sieging if you want to defend your own base. It's very, very hard to get through. We've obviously seen Froggen do ridiculous things with that champion, and some crazy builds. And as we've said, itemization being so strong now, build's going to be different every time. And on top of that, Boom's now picked himself a Varus, another champion, first for our weekend. But he is very, very strong now. He had the downside before of having very bad, literally no escapes. But people are starting to learn how to use it a little bit different. There's more mobility items and things now. You can start putting more defensive, just picked himself a Warmog so he can take a bit more punishment. That ultimate is still incredibly powerful. He has a really good zoning slow with his E, which has great burst damage in the early game and in the late phase. It's great
harass in that early laning phase.
Yeah, so he's a very powerful champion and his late game damage is unbelievable.
Yeah, well, I mean, that pick also locks in even more CC, more control for Frost to work with. As we do have, it looks like the support is being kind of picked here, as we might see Darren yet again going to be on that Renekton. We might see Edward on that Nunu.
Edward Nunu, we saw him on Sona before. Nunu is another one of his big favorite champions that for a long while regarded a ban just for Gosu on Nunu. Before everyone else was banning Nunu, before that Kate Nunu combo, before everyone realized quite how strong he was being targeted against Edward just because it's Edward. So we'll see exactly what Azubu got with it. He is very strong against that Varus because Varus' auto attacks obviously apply those blight stacks. That's a big portion of his damage, and his movement speed as well. He gets an attack speed buffer every time a creeper and a champion dies nearby him, or he gets a last hit, sorry. So that slow and that attack speed slow coming out of Nunu is going to be even more powerful against that Varus. And on top of that, if Blitzcrank grabs Nunu, chances are you're actually going to lose the fight more often. Grabbing Nunu is not a good target because you grab him, you knock him up, he's going to slow your carry, pop his ultimate off, you've got nothing to stop it. It's just going to go full channel and you're going to have Genja the whole time beating into you as you're trying to run away.
And in the laning phase, actually the counter to Blitzcrank, you can slow him down, speed your AD carry up. It's going to be very hard for him to land that pull. And Shy picking up Jax, he's going to play his two favorite champions in these two games. In the World Finals, he did an amazing job, got that double kill against CLG, I believe that was, and just kind of made it an internet sensation again, or at least in League of Legends again. And we will have him in that top lane against Renekton. I mean, Jax doesn't have the strongest early game. Obviously, at level 6, he picks up extremely well because of the passive on that ultimate, but I guess we're going to find out how it goes as they're going to load in.
Yeah, he does have some trouble against Renekton early, but Shai's experience
did you notice
he just
that?
switched to teleport
Yes,
as well
he did.
at the last second. It's been a while since we've seen Jax. We haven't seen him here all this weekend, but he is a very powerful champion and has so many new build paths. Blade of the Ruined King and a 15-minute Baron is very possible in a couple of situations, but I don't think they're going to risk throwing away a semi-final game on that.
Yeah, well, Panky, who do you really have to win this game? Because we just saw Gambit play amazingly well. Frost obviously not going to be out of it just yet.
I want to give it to Azubu. They have a lot of new champions. They'll have different champions. The Nivea first time this weekend, Jax first time, Varus first time, and I want to see a third game.
I want to see Gambit win.